Hello there, this is Douglas Rumbaugh. Now, have you ever done something that's haunted you? You do something, you mess up, you break something, and it's not yours, and it just eats you inside because you know that you've done wrong. Well, I did something like that once, and it's time to set it right. 20 years ago, I borrowed my sister's Game Boy Advance. It was quite new at the time, and took it to a friend's house. And at this friend's house, I decided I was going to eat some french fries with some ketchup. And I accidentally squirted the Game Boy full of ketchup. Here's the Game Boy. And I managed to get the speaker grill full of ketchup. Now, the device, even now, still works. However, on account of the ketchup in the speaker has seen better days. I recently stumbled across this in a box, and it got me thinking, is it possible to fix this? And as it turns out, it may well be, because you can still buy parts for these things 20 years later. So, I have the finest in replacement speakers from Amazon. Completely OEM Nintendo originals, I'm sure. And additionally, somewhere down the line, this thing also lost its back battery cover. You can still buy those too. Again, almost certainly not factory original, but it should be a close enough match. So what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to open this thing up, clean out the 20-year-old ketchup, which is going to be fun, and if necessary, see about replacing the speaker and see if we can get this thing back up and running like new. And I can return it to her, knowing that it may have taken 20 years, but, I did ultimately fix it. Alright, so we zoomed in a little bit. Let's take a look at this. I have actually never opened one of these things up. I have no idea what these look like on the inside. So it is held shut by a couple fasteners, and these are, in true Nintendo fashion, tri-point. So just like you'd see in the Nintendo Switch. I believe in a previous video I called them tri-wing. That's actually incorrect. They are tri-point, although you always see them called tri-wing. As a matter of fact, I even have, for the Switch, I have a tri-wing screwdriver kit that's actually tri-point screwdrivers. The tri-wing is a little bit different. If you're feeling pedantic. So let's get this thing open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so we have removed all of the tri-points. There does, however, appear to be a residual Phillips as well. It wouldn't be consumer electronics if we didn't use different screws. Lord knows you don't want the average person getting into these things. Found it. Nothing like losing a fastener right out the gate. And case comes right off. Look at that, no clips or anything. So we're going to want to clean some of that off. I have some IPA here, isopropyl alcohol, isopropanol for the more chemistry-y types. And let's take a look at what this thing has in it. White circuit board, that's kind of neat. I wonder if they use a different color circuit board for the different colored devices. I don't know. In any case, there's the volume knob right there, which is in and of itself a little bit gunked out. So we'll see about getting that out. Oop, and I dropped something. What was that? Oh, I lost the power switch. That's neat. So this is the power switch right here. And it looks like it just interfaces mechanically with this little piece to like that to give you the actual power switch. Kind of cool. Let's get that out of the way. Now the board itself looks like it's held in by a pair of Phillips screws. And it looks like we have, I assume this is the display connector here. So we may have to take that out. But let's get these. Suppose I can bother to center it. I hate magnetic screwdrivers. Just threw a screw onto the floor again. This thing's not actually magnetic. I just got magnetized somehow. I guess I wasn't expecting it. Where's my flashlight? Found it. Minor miracle. At this point, it's a wonder I haven't lost all these screws yet. So took those two screws out. And principle, I expect we'll just lift out. I guess I can take the bumpers out at this point. And the side pieces. Just lift out. Now we got to figure out how to get the board out. Ah. Okay. Looks like I'm going to have to disconnect this ribbon cable. Difficult to do on camera. So you want to release these tabs here, and then it just pops out. Okay, and we're still held in by the speaker with the wire. See if I can get that out. I suspect that this would ordinarily just lift out, but it's kind of glued in place with ketchup. Really does not want to come out of there. I'm just going to go ahead and desolder this. All right, got soldering iron. Just got to let it hot up. Grab solder wick too. Okay, so I'm going to try and wick the solder off this connector. Okay, now let's get the other one. Got it. We'll leave that going because we're going to need it again. Now, let's take a look at this main board because it's kind of interesting. So here, presumably this is the SoC. There's probably some RAM chips around here somewhere, maybe that thing. Now, interestingly, it looks like we're using membrane switches for all the buttons except the left and right bumpers. Those get proper tactile buttons. So here, the membrane is still attached to the board. You can see there's the contacts for the A and B buttons. In fact, they're even labeled on the silk screen, A and B. And then we have the directional pad there, and there's start and select as well. Then here on the back side, this is probably part of the audio circuit right here. There's the volume control wheel, and that's, I believe, headphone jack right there. All in all, it's a nice, cute little circuit board. But let's actually get some of this corrosion and gunk cleaned off of here. Well, not corrosion. It's not corroded, it's just ketchup. And while that's soaking, we need to figure out how we're going to get this speaker out of here. So there's a little tab right here. I'm wondering if maybe you're supposed to pry it out with that. Let me get a little pry bar. Yes. That's how you do that. Although I think I just damaged the casing a little bit. Whoops. All right. And that I don't think that the camera's doing this justice. That is what 20-year-old ketchup on a speaker looks like. I think it's going to take quite a bit of time for this to come off. As I'm sitting here cleaning it out, it occurs to me, I'm finding it amusing that I never once thought about actually opening this thing up to clean it out when I was younger. It seems like such an obvious thing to do. I basically just like wiped as much of the ketchup off of it as I could, and obviously that didn't help the ketchup that got in through the speaker grill. You know, the thing that I find most miraculous about this whole situation is it's not like it was broken. It still continued to work, and in fact, even the audio still worked. It sounded kind of deadened, probably because it was playing through a thick layer of ketchup. But the speaker still worked. I don't know. It's always interesting how robust some of this stuff was. Electrically, anyway. I did manage to crack the casing trying to get the speaker out. I wonder if I can buy replacement. You could probably buy entire replacement cases. I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, so it's not perfect, but I'm going to call it good enough for now. And we can come back and clean it up more later. Because I want to, before I invest countless hours in getting this thing meticulously cleaned out, let's make sure that when I put the new speaker in, the thing actually works. Before we go spend too much time on that. So this is the replacement part. This is the original. As you can see, they're not identical. The original has this plastic casing around it, as well as this little key for ensuring that it's placed in the right way and presumably doesn't turn. The replacement doesn't have that. So let's just make sure this is lined up the same way. So if the original goes in like that, where the key's there, that means that I'm going to want my replacement to go in about like that. Now we're going to have to resolder these wires back onto here. And this is going to be, I may actually end up doing this soldering. In fact, I'm almost certainly going to do this soldering with the thing not in the case. Apply a little bit of flux. That wire, bottom wire goes on bottom solder pad. I do not like soldering. Never been very good at it. I don't have terribly steady hands, but this is pretty basic. Okay, one down. Okay. Got it. Not my best work, but should do. Now, let's get this thing reassembled, shall we? So in the event that it happened to fall off, which it very well may have, the membranes for the buttons have little keys, little plastic pegs there. Kind of hard to see. I need to get a different camera for this sort of stuff. And that just sort of slots right on the, there you can probably see that a little better. Slots right on the keys. They all work that way. I think I may have actually soldered this on backwards. Yeah, see, because I need the speaker connectors to go up there. But I can't do that right now with the board oriented the way it's supposed to be. I soldered it backwards. Gonna have to fix that. I don't actually know enough about electronic speakers to know if it makes a difference if you wire them backwards, but I can't imagine that it wouldn't. Okay. Let me fit the parts into the casing. So the main board is going to go in like that. The speaker is going to go in like this. So I think that wire needs to go to the bottom. And yeah, that looks right. Let's try this again. Sorry, I'm sure you probably couldn't see anything. I really need to work on how to shoot these sorts of things if I'm going to keep doing them. Anyway, now the speaker goes in to there. And my main board goes on. There we go. Now the speaker it's not flush with the case because it doesn't have the key and stuff that this one did. Don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. Suppose that's something we will find out. Let's go ahead and get this screen connector back in. There we go. Hope you're not squeamish that I cut myself. Whoops. I forgot something. Don't have A and B buttons. Uh-oh. Better get those guys in, huh? guess they go in before the thing, which is which. All right, this is my B button. This one's the B button. And then the A button. And then the membrane. There we go. Now we can drop our main board. In place. Reattach our siding components. So this one of them has a little key in it that slots into there. By looks of things. Let's get our bumpers back on. There we go. Bumpers only seem to fit one way, so it'd be difficult to get that wrong. Now, unfortunately, I don't remember which of these screw holes is for the Phillips screws, and which of those is for the the little Phillips that actually hold the board in. So let's line this up, and this one as well as this one, I think. Or maybe this one and this one. Don't know that it matters. Looks like there are more screw holes than there were screws. Which is interesting. I don't think that's the right screw hole. That's not going in deep enough. Okay, and I believe that's everything. So, as all the parts keep flying off. So let's go ahead and get the back casing back in place. Screw it in and see if it still works. Oh, that's right, these are tri-wing. Where's my tri-point, I'm sorry. All right, let's come tighten down on the rest of the way and see if it still boots. Oh wait, I didn't put the power button back in. Classic. All right. I'll tell you what, I'll just turn it on with a screwdriver or something. I just want to see if it works or if we've broken it. Hey, look at that. And I think we're in good shape. Let's get this power button back in, and I think we're done. I swear, I'm just the king of dropping screws. So again, the power button just... This is the actual switch for power. The power button just drops in here. And you can see it's keyed to this, so that pulls the switch. These things are surprisingly easy to service, tri-point screws notwithstanding. Can't believe I never opened one when I was a kid. Well, I wouldn't have had the right driver, but that can be easily remedied. Quick trip to the store, or... Oh no, what was that, 2001, 2002? I guess Amazon existed. I don't know how much of a thing it was. I don't really remember. I didn't do a whole hell of a lot on the internet as a young kid. It wasn't until I got to high school that I really started, junior high school, that I really started up with the internet stuff. So I don't remember what the online shopping situation would have been like back then. Let's see if I can find that screw I dropped. Ta-da! Today, I mean, I'd be luckier if I weren't dropping screws at all, but today certainly seems to be my lucky day in terms of finding the screws that I drop. All right. There we go. Unfortunately, like I said, I did ding it up right here on the volume lever, or volume knob, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I guess there's one last screw to put in here, right? This little Phillips right here in the back of the battery case. Ta-da! Doesn't quite match, but it's not too bad. Good as new. Well, not quite, but a hell of a lot better than it was.